Imagine you're a child, watching the TV in the year 1963. You've only been exposed to popular music at this time, familiar with the sounds of the Beatles, Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley and the like. You tune into BBC and Doctor Who is starting. Blaring through the stereo is an unnerving soundscape like nothing you've ever heard before. You run behind the sofa, petrified. This was a lot of people's first introduction to the sounds created by pioneering electronic musician Delia Derbyshire. Most know her for arranging the theme tune for Doctor Who and sound design for BBC Radio, but little know the extent to her creativity and influence on all subsequent electronic music. This is the story and legacy of the woman who messed with tape.
We can join them together on a loop and listen to them.
Born in Coventry in the United Kingdom, Delia grew up during the Second World War. When she was 3 years old, Coventry was blitzed. These shocking sights and sounds she experienced would later help to shape her unique sonic palette.
The air raid siren is an abstract sound because you don't know the source of it as a young child. And then the all clear, that's electronic music. In those days, the sound of clogs on cobbles, that must be such an influence on me.
After, she was moved to Lancashire, where her parents were from originally, and spent the rest of her upbringing there. While in school, she thrived in music and mathematics, falling in love with composers like Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart. Described as quite something for a working class girl, she was talented enough to be granted a scholarship to Cambridge. She graduated in 1959 with a Bachelor in Mathematics and Music and went to work in telecommunications and music publishing as an assistant. In 1962, Delia heard about the BBC Radiophonic Workshop. Early in her activities with the workshop, she was assigned to create an electronic rendition of a score by Aussie composer Ron Grainer. This piece would be realised as the theme tune for the Doctor Who series. When Grainer first heard the rendition of his theme, he was so amazed that he asked, "Did I really write this?" To which Derbyshire replied, "Most of it." Derbyshire was the first person in the radiophonic workshop with any higher music qualifications. But she wasn't supposed to be doing music, so much of her early work remained anonymous, under the credit, Special Sound by BBC Radiophonic Workshop. She was called upon to do music for drama and documentary programs set in the distant past, the unseen future, or deep in the human psyche. Science, arts, and educational programs also benefited from her abstract style. Derbyshire's work after the workshop was driven by her passion to create music. With a fellow workshop member, they set up Unit Delta Plus, an organisation intended to promote electronic music. They exhibited this work and experimental art at music festivals, including one at which the Beatles' Carnival of Light had its only public viewing. After her audio-visual career, Derbyshire would go on to work as a radio operator at several locations. She didn't stop writing music, however, and in 2001, she returned to collaborate with Pete Kember on a compilation album. Her final years would quickly spiral downhill due to chronic alcoholism, and Derbyshire died in 2001, aged 64. The legacy of Delia Derbyshire is inspiring and monumental, but partly forlorn. In retrospect, Being a woman in the mid-20th century, Derbyshire experienced discrimination in the form of rejection from job applications and lack of credit for her work. However, nowadays, we can appreciate her work as one of the pioneering electronic musicians and innovators in sound design for radio and television. Artists such as Aphex Twin, Portishead, the Chemical Brothers, and Orbital cited her as an influence, not to mention the countless other musical acts that have been latently influenced by her. Thanks to her painstaking innovations with primitive technology, the lives of electronic musicians around the world has been made exponentially easier. Only 6 decades ago, our predecessors were pondering about the technology to come, and we are now here to experience it.